Project number 2 is called Time to Hang On. How cute is that? That's so sweet, isn't it? Okay, so with this one, it's a standard A5 and it's there's quite a few of the decoupage layers on there. You can see there's quite a lot of depth on this card. And once again, with this image, you can play about with it, or you can do quite a lot with it. I'm going to construct a standard card that is obviously static, but I know a lot of you like a little bit of movement in your cards as well. So for this one, what I've done is a slight change by, well, if you look at his finger, you can see there's a little pink dot. What I've done is I've actually added it onto a brad so that he actually does swing. How cute. So you can actually get him to swing on this one. But when I put this one together, I'll just be doing it as a flat one. So you get to see both versions. How cute. I love it. It's so brilliant. And again, I've gone through and I've added some glossy accents on his eyes. I don't know if you can see the little bit of sheen on his eyes there. Okay, so let's get started with this one. I've already gone ahead and cut out all my pieces like I normally do. Now, because this image is a cartoon image and it's got a black line all the way around it, this time I've actually gone around all my edges, hiding those raw cut-out edges with the black pen. So I don't know if you can just see that there. You can't see any of the white on the edges. So literally, I've taken my shape, and I'm just going to go around the edges like so, just hiding those raw cut edge. And again, it really does cover a multitude of sins if you're not very good at cutting out, or you do have wobbly hand syndrome like I do sometimes. And you can just spend a few minutes going around each of your layers and just hide that white. So again, only use the black if your image that you're using has got a black line or a dark line around it. I mean, if you want to, you could just go around with a pencil, but I always find using a complementary colour to the edges of the image works so much better. And I just think it gives any project that you're doing that professional edge. It just looks more finished, but you know, it's entirely up to you. Nobody's going to force you or hold a gun to your head. So I'm just going to go around there. Okay, nearly done. What I'll do is I'll just jump to the end so you're not having to sit and watch me go through the entire process of doing every single edge. Okay, I'll see you back in a minute. Fast forward at this point. Right, I'm back again. So that's it. I've gone around the entire edge of that layer and all my layers are now ready for constructing the card with. I've even gone around the edge of my little insert panel for the card. So I'm going to get my card base ready, which is just a standard A5 card base. So that's just an A4 sheet folded in half. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. Cut and rejoin. Bone fold here somewhere. Okay, so I have my base card. So all I'm going to do is just pop my decoupage layers to one side for a second. Okay, so we have that. And then I'm just going to stick down my base layer with wet glue. Like so. And then just attach it to my card front. Obviously wet glue allows you just to position it, get it where you want it before it grabs hold. Like so. Okay, so we're now going to stick down our first layer. And we're just going to put that down flat. Add a little bit of glue just on those edges there. And then just lay that with a little bit of a border all the way around. So the glue gives us that little bit of time just to maneuver, like so. Okay, the next step is to add our ribbon strip across the bottom of the card, because that's where we're going to put the sentiment. Now obviously these sentiments, there's more than one sentiment on the kit. You have hang on, it's your birthday, hang on, get well soon, or happy retirement. So we're just going to go for the hang on, it's your birthday. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to add that on with some wet glue again. None of this is dimensional just yet. Okay, so across the bottom, right the way across the red, giving you, let's see, how was that? Just like so. Okay, that's about as straight, I think. Let's make a slight adjustment to the camera thing. That's better. There we go, that's perfect. Okay, now the decorative label punch. So we just need that, which is the Stampin' Up decorative label punch. And we'll just punch that out of the card. Lined up as best we can. There we go, I think that's just about right on. And then punch that out. And then put those to one side to use later. And then we're just going to add a few foam pads to the back of the sentiment for a tiny touch of dimension. Like so. Let's get the backs off those. And then that can sit quite nicely in the middle, just like that. Okay, now we're ready to add our decoupage layers for our hanging mister. So as I've previously said, we've coloured the edges and already put the foam pads on, so it shouldn't take too long to finish putting this card together. It's just such a cute one. But like I say, you can do add a brad through his finger, raise that back part up on foam pads if you wanted to, and that way it will enable you to give it that swinging motion as well, so that you'd have to raise the whole of the back panel, not the red, but the whole of this panel up on either foam tape or shaker tape would probably work just as easy. I think that's all of the foam pads off. And then all I'm going to do is just line the foot up and then line his pick his hands and fingers into place, just like so. Okay, so layer number 1. Layer number 2, and I've tried to put the foam pads in the same places on the backs of each of these layers so that the foam pads stack, and that gives it some stability and it makes it better if you do try and post this, or want to try and post this one, that it won't get squished, or you lessen the likelihood of him getting squished in the post. Line the arms up. You can already see the layers starting to build up there. Okay, so next we have 2 layers more to put on his head. And then we're nearly there. So line it up at the bottom. Just catch his ears. There we go. And then the next one. And that's all our decoupage layers done. And we're ready just to finish that final bit of embellishing in a moment. So all lined up. There we go. So as you can see, nicely layered. Okay, one last layer, which is just his hand with the pick. So line that pick up, drop his hand on, and push down. Let's clear some of these bits out of the way. Now before I forget and start embellishing the front, I'm just going to add in the sentiment panel on the inside of the card, because I always forget. I always end up not putting it in. Right down the middle. Like so. Okay, so that's the card pretty much finished. Now you don't have to add anything else to it, but I'm going to get a little bit of glossy accents out, and I'm going to go over his eyes. So we'll go around the outside, top of his nose, around the outside, and then fill in. There we go. And then I'm going to do his pick. Get a little bit of shine, add a little bit to his zip. And there we are. I think that's just about done. Actually, we could just add just a few little highlights here and there along the edge of the rock face. There we go. How's that? I think we missed a bit on the edge of his pickaxe. There we go. So that's the static version, and that's the version that swings. I love this card. I think it's so cute. There you go.